The story opens under a brooding sky as a rugged off-road vehicle rumbles along a dirt path, kicking up dust as it approaches the remote village of Black Hollow. Inside, a team of explorers, each with their own reasons for being here, exchange nervous jokes to mask their unease. Among them is Dr. Elena Carter, a seasoned geologist with a no-nonsense attitude, Mark Rivas, a reckless adrenaline junkie and experienced caver, Priya Desai, a documentary filmmaker eager to capture the mystery, and Liam Foster, a local guide whose grandfather once warned him never to step foot in the Black Maw Caverns. The village is a cluster of weathered wooden houses, its people wary of outsiders. As the team unloads their gear, the villagers watch in silence. An elderly woman, Marta, steps forward, her milky eyes locking onto Elena. "You go into those caves, you don't come back," she warns, her voice brittle. "The maw takes what it wants." The team laughs it off. Mark cracks a joke about ghost stories while Priya adjusts her camera, intrigued by the superstition. Only Liam hesitates, his fingers tightening around his backpack straps. That night at the village's lone tavern, the bartender slides a drink toward Liam. "Your grandfather knew," he mutters. "Heard things down there, voices that weren't human." Liam brushes it off, but the seed of doubt is planted. Meanwhile, Elena reviews old maps, noting discrepancies in the cave's layout, tunnels that shouldn't exist, depths uncharted. At dawn, the team sets out toward the gaping mouth of Black Maw Caverns, an ominous fissure in the mountainside. The air grows colder as they approach, the wind carrying a faint, dissonant hum like distant whispers. Mark is the first to step inside, his headlamp cutting through the darkness. The others follow, their boots crunching on loose stone. Just before they disappear into the abyss, Liam glances back. For a moment, he swears he sees figures standing among the trees, watching. Then the shadows shift, and they're gone. The cave swallows them whole. The cave exhales a damp, metallic breath as the team moves deeper, their headlamps carving fragile pools of light in the endless dark. The walls glisten with moisture, the air thick with the scent of wet stone and something else, something faintly organic, like old earth after a rain. The floor slopes downward, and the sound of their footsteps is swallowed by the cavern's throat. Mark takes the lead, his usual bravado tinged with unease as he tests each foothold. "This place doesn't match any of the surveys," Elena mutters, running her fingers over a smooth, unnatural groove in the rock. "These formations, they shouldn't be here." Her voice echoes just a little too long, as if the cave is repeating her. Priya keeps her camera rolling, the red recording light a tiny, unwavering eye in the blackness. She pans over the walls, zooming in on strange, almost deliberate scratches, too symmetrical to be erosion. "Guys," she says, her voice tight. "Did we just hear that?" Silence. Then, a whisper. Not quite a voice, not quite an echo, just a breath of sound, syllables without meaning, slipping between the rocks. Liam goes rigid. "We should turn back," he says, but Mark scoffs. "What, scared of a little echo?" The team presses on, the tunnel narrowing until they're forced to crawl, their gear scraping against stone. The temperature drops sharply. Priya's camera flickers, the screen distorting for a second, just long enough to catch a blurred shape darting past the edge of the frame. When she rewinds, there's nothing. Then Elena's radio crackles to life with a burst of static. Beneath the noise, a voice, her own voice, murmurs, "Don't let it see you." She yanks the headset off, her breath shallow. No one else heard it. The tunnel opens suddenly into a vast chamber, their lights failing to reach the ceiling. The ground is littered with debris, old ropes, a rusted canteen, a shoe. Something glints in the beam of Mark's headlamp, a fresh set of footprints, leading deeper into the dark. But they're the only ones here. The vast chamber swallows their voices as the team sets up a makeshift camp, their headlamps casting long, trembling shadows against the cavern walls. The air is colder here, thick with a silence that feels deliberate, as if the cave itself is holding its breath. Mark, ever the skeptic, shrugs off the unease, tossing his pack down with a forced laugh. "Place gives me the creeps, but it's just a hole in the ground," he says, though his eyes keep darting toward the dark tunnels branching off around them. Priya checks her camera again, frowning at the way the playback glitches. Just a half-second blur where she swears something moved. She doesn't mention it. Liam doesn't sit. He paces near the edge of the light, his fingers twitching toward the knife at his belt. "We shouldn't stay here," he mutters. Elena ignores him, focused on the map, but even she can't ignore the way the ink seems to bleed where she's marked their path, like the paper itself is rejecting her notes. Then, softly, a sound, a voice. It's distant, muffled, but unmistakably human. A woman's voice calling out in a panicked whisper, "Help me!" Mark jerks upright. "Did you? Help me, please!" It's coming from one of the tunnels. Priya grabs her camera, already recording, but Elena grabs her arm. "We stick together," she snaps. Mark doesn't listen. He's already moving, his headlamp bobbing as he strides toward the sound. "Someone's down here," he calls back, voice edged with excitement. "Maybe another team." Then he stops. The voice isn't ahead of him anymore. It's behind him, right in his ear. He whirls, but there's nothing, just the empty tunnel, the walls too close, the air suddenly thick. His breath comes fast, his pulse roaring in his ears. Then, movement, a flicker at the edge of his vision. He turns again, and this time, his light catches something. A face, his face, staring back at him from the dark. The thing wearing his features grins, too wide, too many teeth, and then the light winks out. Back in the chamber, the others hear a scream. It cuts off abruptly. By the time they reach the tunnel, there's no sign of Mark. No blood, no struggle, just his headlamp, lying shattered on the ground. And on the wall above it, a single word scraped into the stone as if by desperate fingers. "Run." The remaining explorers huddle in the flickering glow of their dying lamps, their breaths shallow and uneven. The cavern feels heavier now, as if the walls are pressing in, absorbing Mark's absence into the silence. Priya's hands tremble as she replays the last seconds of footage. Mark's voice, then static, then nothing. The camera hadn't captured the thing in the dark, but it had captured his scream. Liam runs his fingers over the words scraped into the wall. "Run." His throat tight. "We're not alone down here," he says, voice low. "And whatever's with us, it's not human." Elena refuses to accept it. There's got to be an explanation. Cave-ins, gas hallucinations. But even she doesn't believe it. Not after what they heard. Not after what they almost saw. A glint catches Priya's eye, something embedded in the rock. She kneels, brushing away layers of sediment to reveal a patch of wall covered in ancient carvings. The images are crude but unmistakable, stick figures dragged into the earth by elongated, shadowy hands. Beneath them, a spiral symbol, over and over, like a vortex pulling them deeper. "This isn't just a cave," Priya whispers. "It's a tomb, or a prison." Liam's face goes pale. "My grandfather told stories about things that lived in these mountains before people did, things that hate being underground." Elena's scientific resolve cracks. She examines the carvings, then the tunnel ahead, where the rock formations twist unnaturally, like something burrowed through. "These tunnels weren't formed by water," she murmurs. "They were made." A sound cuts through the silence, a slow, wet shifting, like something unfurling in the dark. Then a whisper, this time in Mark's voice. "Guys, I'm over here." It's coming from 3 different tunnels at once. Priya's camera light flickers, and in the split second of darkness, something moves at the edge of the chamber. Not a shadow, not a trick of the light. A shape. Watching. Waiting. The team realizes the truth at the same moment. The cave isn't empty, and it's hungry. The air in the cavern grows thick, charged with a static hum that prickles against their skin. The team stands frozen, their backs pressed together in a fragile circle of light as the whispers coil around them. Mark's voice, Elena's, Liam's own, all overlapping in a grotesque chorus just beyond the glow of their headlamps. Priya's breath comes in short, panicked hitches as she clutches her camera, its lens now fogged with an unnatural moisture. The screen flickers, and for a heartbeat, she sees it. A distortion in the darkness, something too tall, too thin, its limbs bending at angles that make her stomach lurch. Then the image cuts to static. Liam grips his knife so hard his knuckles bleach white. "It's playing with us," he hisses. "It wants us to run." A sound like wet stone grinding against bone echoes from the tunnel ahead. Then movement, a shudder in the shadows. It steps into the light. At first, it's Mark, or something wearing his face, his clothes, his voice caught in a half-formed plea for help. Then its skin ripples, features melting like wax, rearranging into Priya, then Elena, then a nightmare collage of all 3, mouths splitting too wide, eyes black and depthless. "You shouldn't have come," it says, their voices braided together into something hollow and echoing. Elena staggers back, her scientific certainty shattered. "This isn't possible." The thing lurches forward, its movements jerky, inhuman. One moment it's 5 feet away. The next, it's right in front of Liam, its breath reeking of damp earth and something metallic. He slashes with the knife. It connects, but the wound doesn't bleed. Just opens, peeling back to reveal not flesh, but a yawning blackness inside. The cavern groans around them. The walls pulse, the very rock twisting as if alive. Priya screams as the floor beneath her gives way, her body swallowed by a crevice that wasn't there a second ago. Liam grabs for her, but his fingers close around empty air. Her camera clatters to the ground, still recording, its lens cracked, but capturing the final horrifying truth. The cave isn't just hiding the entity. It is the entity, and it's waking up. The cavern trembles like a living thing, rocks dislodging from the ceiling as the walls themselves seem to breathe. Liam and Elena stumble backward, their headlamps swinging wildly, illuminating flashes of the horror unfolding around them, the way the tunnel behind them has sealed shut, the way the stone beneath their boots pulses with a slow, rhythmic vibration. Priya is gone. Mark is gone. The thing wearing their faces has vanished back into the dark, but its presence lingers in the air, a greasy, suffocating weight that presses against their skin. "We have to move," Liam snarls, grabbing Elena's arm. She doesn't resist. The last shreds of her skepticism have been torn away. They run, their breaths ragged, their footsteps swallowed by the cave's hungry echoes. The passages twist and turn, shifting in ways that defy logic. Corridors doubling back on themselves, slopes tilting upward when they should descend. The entity is hurting them, playing with them. Then, light. Faint, flickering, but unmistakable. A sliver of daylight bleeding through a crack in the rock ahead. "There!" Elena gasps, surging forward. Liam hesitates for a fraction of a second. Too easy. But the hope is too intoxicating. They claw their way toward it, fingers scraping against stone, the light growing brighter, warmer. They burst free. Sunlight, open air. The forest stretches out before them, the village visible in the distance. They made it. Elena collapses to her knees, laughing in hysterical relief. Liam turns back toward the cave entrance and freezes. It's gone. Where the mouth of Black Maw Caverns should be, there's only unbroken rock. And then Elena's laughter changes. It's not her voice anymore. Liam turns slowly, his blood turning to ice. Elena is smiling at him. Too wide, too many teeth. "You didn't really think it would let you leave, did you?" she says. Except it's not her. It's never been her. Behind him, the trees rustle. Shadows detach themselves from the undergrowth. Figures, dozens of them, all wearing familiar faces. The last thing Liam sees before the darkness takes him is his own face staring back, grinning. Weeks later, a search team finds Liam's backpack at the edge of the forest. Inside, Priya's camera. The footage is fragmented, corrupted, but in the final seconds, a clear image emerges. Liam, standing at the cave entrance, smiling. Then the screen goes black. A voice whispers, "Come home." Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.